Have you ever wondered why, with nothing more than your natural presence, a man suddenly becomes awkward, quiet, or subdued, not because he is shy, not because he lacks confidence, or does not know what to say, but because in that very moment, something deep within him, something even he rarely touches, unexpectedly awakens when he stands before your feminine energy. Carl Jung, one of humanity's greatest psychologists, believed that within every man lies an unconscious feminine image, an archetype known as the anima. When a woman lives true to her own nature, she does not need to try at all. That very presence reaches into the deepest part of him, a place he has never reached himself, and it leaves him unsettled in a way he cannot even explain. If you sense that shift, but do not know how to understand it, you may easily assume that the other person is becoming distant, indifferent, or deliberately pulling away. And from there, you begin to blame yourself, to doubt your own worth, unconsciously dimming the very gentle energy that is awakening a man at his deepest level. So what causes women to lose touch with the energy that has the power to awaken the anima in a man? And how can that awakening happen naturally, softly, without you having to strive or prove your value? In today's journey, I will open for you layers of quiet yet potent energy, and most importantly, pay attention to the final energy, because that is the key that leads you back to the most radiant version of your femininity, where the anima within him comes to you on its own, instead of you having to find ways to awaken it. Energy 1. Presence, the stillness that awakens the anima. The presence of a woman can change a man's inner state faster than any words ever could. Not because she does anything special, but because her energetic rhythm touches directly the unconscious part he usually avoids. He is not awkward because of her, but because of himself. Presence is not simply standing in front of someone. It is the state in which a woman is no longer carried away by familiar worries, such as, "Am I making a good impression? What does he think of me?" Or, "What should I do to be liked?" She does not run from her emotions, does not strain herself to be better, and does not try to prove anything. When she is truly present, her energy holds a rhythm of its own, making a man unconsciously feel that something is shifting inside him. That is the moment the anima rises like a still lake trembling softly under moonlight. Not loud, yet impossible to ignore. Some women appear without leaving a strong impression through their looks, yet somehow change the emotional rhythm of men around them. In that state, she is not trying to seem gentle or profound. She is present because she is simply being herself. The energy of a woman's presence is not noisy. It does not create pressure. It gently soothes what is inside a man, bringing a kind of peace he never expected. This is what men lack most, because they live constantly in tension. Responsibility toward family, the pressure to earn money, the expectation to be strong, to succeed, to carry everything. Yet ironically, they do not realize they are missing that peace until they meet a woman who carries it within her. Usually, when men meet a woman, they look and assess whether she is their type or easy to pursue. But when they meet a woman who is truly present, they no longer see her as a target. Instead, they begin to see themselves when standing beside her. This is the moment the anima, the unconscious feminine part within him, rises. He becomes more genuine, more sensitive, deeper, sometimes silent or confused. Carl Jung once wrote, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. When two people meet, what happens is not only surface communication, but the interaction between two energetic fields. A woman's presence in this moment becomes a catalyst that changes a man's inner structure, not in the direction of infatuation or impulsive action, but through a quiet shift in the unconscious that makes him more contemplative, more silent, sometimes awkward in ways he himself cannot explain. Imagine walking into a cafe simply to sit and work. You are not wearing heavy makeup, not looking for good lighting to take photos, and not paying attention to anyone. You sit down, pour yourself a drink, and open your laptop. A man at the next table unconsciously glances over. He is talking to his friend, but his voice suddenly slows by one beat. That is presence. You do nothing, yet your still energy makes the anima within him turn toward you. By contrast, a woman who always tries to appear perfect creates a different effect. Every time she goes out, she prepares carefully, fixing her hair, adjusting her clothes, rehearsing her smile, thinking in advance about what to say to impress. Even the way she places her hands on the table or lifts a glass carries calculation. She looks polished, but she is not natural. She appears with a beautiful outer layer, but without a real rhythm inside. A man sees her, but feels nothing. Her energy is unstable, like a signal full of interference. When a woman is performing, a man's unconscious mind recognizes it immediately. He cannot analyze why, but his body reacts. The anima within him remains silent, because the anima responds only to truth, not to strain. What creates the deepest connection is not what she says or does, but the feeling she carries. When she no longer worries about being judged or compared, her energy becomes steady. That steadiness makes the anima within a man respond instantly. This attraction does not come from appearance. This presence cannot be trained in a few days. It comes when a woman allows herself to live truthfully in each small moment, feeling her emotions, letting her breath be natural, accepting her own vulnerability. In that state, even her silence has weight, and that silence makes a man slow down and notice a movement within himself, the anima rising. To feel this energy, you can try a simple exercise. Sit still for 3 minutes. Feel your body. Do not adjust yourself. Do not try to be calm. Do not try to become better. Just sit and breathe. After a few minutes, you will feel yourself return to a natural rhythm. That is the state of presence, the foundation of the deepest attraction. How long has it been since you were truly present in a moment? And have you ever noticed, with quiet awareness, a man changing his rhythm simply because of your presence? When you begin to pay attention, things that once seemed insignificant become very clear. And you will easily recognize the moment the anima in a man responds to you. His eyes linger, his voice softens, and his entire energy becomes gentler, simply because you are there. Energy 2. Illumination. Seeing the unconscious before touching it. Have you noticed that there are women who are very beautiful yet make men feel uneasy? Not because they are so captivating that they throw someone off balance, but because they do not understand their own emotions. And so men become confused along with them. By contrast, a woman with an ordinary appearance can make men feel lighter and clearer. Standing beside her, he feels more at ease, less tense, and more in touch with himself. The difference does not lie in appearance, but in the ability to see what is happening inside. Clarity is the energy that helps a woman first recognize her own true emotions, so that she can then see clearly what is happening within a man before misunderstandings turn into behaviors that pull both people apart. When a woman understands how her own unconscious operates, she no longer reacts from fear or habit. And when she stands in that state, the anima in a man recognizes a point of support. A person may not know exactly what is happening, but their unconscious mind responds very quickly. He senses that she is different from others, even if he cannot explain why. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." The unconscious will always guide you until you call it by its true name. You ask something very simple, "Are you okay?" He answers, "I am." But his eyes look away, his voice drops lower than usual. A woman who has not recognized her own fear often reacts from old instincts and thinks, "He does not want to share." By contrast, a woman who carries the energy of clarity will recognize the anima in him has just been touched. He is facing his emotions, so he needs a few seconds to catch up with himself. No blame, no blame, no anger, no overinterpretation. That is clarity, seeing the essence before seeing the behavior. A woman with this energy does not distort a man's reactions into indifference or coldness. She understands correctly, so she responds correctly. And it is precisely this right response that allows the anima in him to open more fully, instead of retreating into defense. You may think he chooses you because of feelings, but sometimes he chooses you because you carry this energy. After all, See if you hold emotional rhythm well, so that the relationship does not become suffocated. A woman who understands her own fear does not use that fear to love. She does not cling to him to avoid the pain of abandonment. She does not try to please him to avoid being judged. She does not overextend herself to become good enough. The anima, in a man, senses this shift immediately. When she stands in her truth, he stands in his. You often believe that men choose you because of the feelings they have for you. That is true, but it is not enough. Sometimes he chooses you because you carry a very rare kind of energy. You keep your emotions steady, not allowing your fears to choke the bond between you. A woman who clearly understands her fears does not love from panic. She does not hold on to him out of fear of being left. She does not please him just to keep the peace. She does not try to be perfect to become good enough. And she does not love from anxiety, but from clarity. And men sense this immediately, without any explanation. When she stands in her own truth, he feels safe to stand in his. The anima in him opens because the steadiness within her does not push him into a defensive corner, but gives him space to be honest. That is why there are men who are naturally reserved and quiet. Yet when they are with the right woman, they can speak for the first time about very private things. Their fears, old wounds, or feelings they have never shared with anyone before. Have you ever experienced this? A man beside you who can speak from the deepest part of his heart. That is the moment when the anima within him rises most clearly. The energy of clarity helps a woman avoid falling into familiar cycles, such as self-blame, fear of being left, or the need to please. When she sees her own fear, she no longer uses it to control the relationship. This creates a natural sense of safety that makes men open more easily. His confusion lessens when she becomes clear with herself. Try to recall something you once did purely out of fear or unnecessary worry. Perhaps sending too many messages. Perhaps staying silent for too long. Perhaps pretending to be calm while feeling unsettled inside. When you can name your fear, it no longer leads you through the dark. You do not need to understand every path of the unconscious. You only need to see one point clearly, and the light will naturally spread to the rest. After you name a fear, how does the feeling inside you change? When your mind becomes just a little clearer, from that small space of light, you begin to notice things you once overlooked. His gaze, your emotional rhythm, the subtle movements your unconscious sends. And if you pause for one more second, you will realize that those signals are not random. They are guiding you toward the next layer of energy. Energy 3. Symbolic energy. The hidden language of primordial feminine nature. You go on a date with a man. He does not remember what you said on the first date, but he remembers the look in your eyes as you gazed out the window. He does not remember the long conversation, but he remembers the way you smiled and then gently lowered your head. He does not remember what color you wore that day, but he remembers the way you sat under the warm yellow light. The deepest impressions men carry do not come from words, but from images. And in Jungian psychology, that is exactly how the unconscious speaks. What matters here is this: men do not always understand their own emotions, but the anima within them understands images very quickly. A very small moment can awaken the deepest part of them. You say nothing, yet your soft sigh makes him feel a quiet sadness of his own. You look far away, and he suddenly feels the urge to ask what you are thinking. You step onto the porch, sunlight touching your face. He sees that moment and feels that you carry a powerful attraction. Do you see? It is all images, not words, not logic. That is the language the anima understands: symbols. Images like the moon, water, mirrors, or forests may sound distant, but in truth, they appear every day in your life. When a man sees a moment of you that echoes those familiar feelings, the anima within him responds immediately. You smile brightly, and your eyes light up, and he thinks of moonlight. You stand before a mirror, slowly tying your hair, and he finds himself unconsciously more attentive. That is not excessive romanticism. It is his unconscious recognizing something familiar, something real and deep within you. Carl Jung said, "Symbols are the language of the unconscious." The unconscious always speaks in symbols. It does not respond to logic or analysis. It responds to images that carry essence. And when a woman lives in alignment with her natural emotions, she unintentionally emits symbols that awaken the anima in a man. Imagine a quiet weekend afternoon. You brew a cup of tea, carry it to the porch, and sit down. The sky is slightly dim, the breeze is cool, and the neighbor's dog runs back and forth across the yard, making you laugh softly. You are simply enjoying a very ordinary moment. A new neighbor walks by. He sees the scene just a few seconds, but his gaze lingers longer than usual. Not because you stand out as beautiful, but because the image has a sense of realness he rarely encounters, a woman enjoying herself in a very natural way. And the next day, he approaches, smiles, and asks, "Have you lived here long?" A simple question, but you know it is not mere curiosity, not because of the tea, not because of what you were wearing, not even because of your smile. You drew him in through your state of being in that moment, a moment that made you feel close without a single word. That image became a symbol, and the anima within him responded immediately. Feminine symbols do not come from technique, they come from the state. You cannot construct them. You can only allow them to arise when you stop forcing yourself, stop performing, stop trying to create attraction. One of the strongest symbols of femininity is the emotional cycle, not the biological cycle. A woman is not always radiant or overflowing with energy. There are days when she speaks less and simply wants to be alone. Moments when she becomes sensitive, easily moved by something very small. Times when she sits quietly in thought, no longer concerned with appearing strong. And there are moments when her intuition is powerful, when she knows clearly what she wants and what she needs to do. These rising and falling, deep and quiet states are not abnormalities. They are the natural rhythm of femininity. When a woman allows herself to live in that rhythm, without forcing herself to be perfect or cheerful all the time, she becomes deeply real. And it is that authenticity that creates primal attraction. Have you ever had a moment when you let your emotions lead you? A time when you were tired and leaned on someone's shoulder? A time when you laughed out loud without holding back? A time when you chose silence instead of pretending to be strong? Those moments become symbols etched deeply in a man's mind. Because when he looks at you, he does not only see you, he sees the feminine essence the anima has always been seeking to return to. And that is why there are women who seem ordinary, not especially striking, yet completely capture a man's heart. They make him want to love, to cherish, to protect, not because they tried to earn it, but because they touched the deepest part within him. Many women, in their desire to become attractive, unconsciously fall into a familiar cycle, trying to seem interesting, trying to maintain a polished image, trying to control every emotion so others will see them in the right way. But the more they try, the further they move from their true nature. And the irony is this, that very strain erases what once made the anima in a man respond authenticity and the natural rhythm of femininity. So, what should you do now? Not continue chasing, not trying harder to create a more attractive image. What you need is to slow down, to turn inward instead of constantly reaching outward. Try choosing one symbol you have long felt connected to water, the moon, trees, light, or even darkness. Do not analyze it. Do not try to understand it. Simply notice why you feel close to it, or why it makes you pause just a little longer. When you feel more deeply, you will realize something important. An image only truly holds power when there is a corresponding emotion within you. If symbols are the language of the unconscious, then emotion is your voice. And the moment you reconnect with your true feelings, the anima within him will naturally respond differently. Not because you are more beautiful, not because you try harder, but because you are living in your feminine rhythm, where image, emotion, and truth move together as one. If you try this and notice a very subtle movement within yourself, a strange feeling you have never named before, leave a small note in the comments below. Perhaps that moment will open for you an entirely new way of seeing yourself. We are always here to listen. Energy 4. Emotional truth. Softness with a backbone. A woman with genuine emotions is someone who dares to let her feelings appear exactly when they arise. She does not apologize for being sad, does not try to hide when she feels weak, and does not use emotion to manipulate or bind anyone. This is not loud crying, not complaining, and not excessive outpouring. The anima in a man is not awakened by drama or intensity. It is awakened by a very small moment when a woman is honest with herself. Just that one true, unembellished feeling is enough for his unconscious to recognize a presence he has not touched for a long time. Emotional authenticity carries a very special power. It is not noisy, yet it creates a direct impact on the anima, the unconscious feminine part within a man. When a woman dares to be sad, dares to be joyful, slows her pace by a beat, or allows herself to tremble slightly, a man's unconscious immediately recognizes a call he once lost in childhood, that it is safe to be seen in one's emotions. Many people believe that to attract a man, one must be strong, independent, or always composed. But the very moment you stop pretending that you are fine and honestly admit that you are tired or sad is when the anima in him rises most clearly. This is not a weakness. This is softness with a spine. Carl Jung wrote, "Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling." A woman who balances thought and emotion creates a state that men rarely encounter. He senses the truth within her, and that truth leads him back to himself. I once knew a very beautiful story about a close friend of mine. She loved with sincerity in every circumstance. One day, she realized that her partner was trying to hide something, work pressure, quiet worries, or something he did not want her to carry with him. She saw the fatigue in his eyes even as he tried to appear normal. When he turned and asked, "What's wrong with you?" Instead of avoiding the moment as many people would, she chose truth. "I can feel that you're going through something difficult. I don't want to pressure you to talk, but I want you to know that I'm here." That single sentence changed the atmosphere. No blame, no demands. That moment struck directly into his anima, because for the first time, he felt that someone saw him before he even spoke. Not through logic, but through her genuine sensitivity. That allowed him to lower his defenses and let the deepest part of himself step out from the place he had hidden for so long. From that moment on, they became deeply connected, eventually building a small family together, all beginning with her ability to sense, to see, and to speak honestly. At the unconscious level, the anima in a man hears this more clearly than any sweet words, because true emotion is what the unconscious understands fastest. A woman who dares to speak honestly does not make a man uncomfortable. She makes him more honest with himself. Many women, when they feel sad, choose long silence, hoping men will guess. Some pretend to be strong so they will not be taken lightly. Some force themselves to appear cheerful to keep the peace. But when a woman is not honest with her own emotions, a man becomes confused. He does not know what she wants, what she needs, or what she is feeling. He does not know whether to step closer, step back, or stay silent. And when he does not know what to do, his natural reflex is to withdraw. Emotional authenticity is not revealing everything at once. It is the courage to look directly at the feeling that is present. Just that clarity is enough for a man's unconscious to awaken. Because men are not skilled at reading complex signals, but they sense the truth immediately. A man only enters emotional depth when a woman's genuine feelings give him a reason to open the door. You do not need to be eloquent. You only need to dare to say, "I'm sad," or "I'm worried," or "I need a little time for myself." This transparency of emotion awakens the anima within him more powerfully than any perfection ever could. Just one feeling. No long explanations. No dramatizing. When you are honest with yourself, you will notice his response change at once. His voice may soften. His gaze may focus more deeply. His energy may settle. Those are the signs that the anima is being awakened. As you have walked with us nearly halfway through this journey, the fact that you are still here means you are truly slowing down to look more deeply into yourself. Thank you for that presence. And if you feel that this content has touched a place within you, you may like or share it. That small gesture lets us know you are walking with us and helps these stories continue to spread gently. Energy 5. Reflection. The mirror that makes a man see himself. Some women do not need to touch a man through physical contact, do not need to say anything special, and do not actively pursue him. Yet, when men stand before them, they feel a shift within themselves. Not because she is extraordinarily beautiful or irresistibly attractive, but because when he looks at her, he feels as if he is seeing a part of himself reflected. The feeling is strange. He wants to draw closer, yet at the same time, does not feel confident enough to step forward. Not because he fears her, but because he fears what he sees within himself. Her clarity brings to the surface the fears, the fragility, the parts he has hidden beneath his strength. And not every man is ready to face his own truth when it appears so clearly. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. What disturbs us in others is often what we do not dare to see in ourselves." The energy of mirroring carries exactly this meaning. When standing before a woman who holds this energetic field, men are easily activated in places they have never touched. Suddenly, a man sees the parts of himself he usually avoids: fear, insecurity, the feeling of not being good enough, wounded memories, and the vulnerabilities he always hides. These parts rise to the surface and make him uncomfortable because they are not strong, not manly, in the way he wants to present himself. This mirroring energy reveals itself through very small, everyday moments. In the office, you may once see a male colleague walk in with a tense face, arranging his papers a little too forcefully. You gently say, "You seem under a lot of pressure today." He immediately replies sharply, "I'm fine." If you lack mirroring energy, you might think you said something wrong. But with true mirroring, you recognize that he is not angry at you. He is uncomfortable because he was seen too quickly in the place where he always wants to appear strong. A raised eyebrow, a sharp, "I'm fine," will reveal a great deal when you see the essence instead of misreading the surface behavior. Many women think they are the problem, but in truth, it is their clarity that exposes what men have suppressed for too long. A man may hide his fears through many past relationships, but standing before a woman with this mirroring field, he can no longer hide, not because she forces him, but because his unconscious sees itself reflected in her eyes. What is fascinating is this: men do not like to be scrutinized, yet they deeply long to be seen. They fear being seen through, yet they feel lighter when someone finally sees them without judgment. This is when the anima opens most powerfully, not through seduction, but through truth. Have you ever experienced this? A moment when a man reacts strongly toward you. Perhaps you asked a very ordinary question, or perhaps you simply looked at him a little longer in silence. His intense reaction does not come from your words, but from his own fear. A woman who understands this does not respond with hurt, but with calm. When a woman holds that clarity, the mirror works even more strongly. A man begins to see what he once ran from: his vulnerability, his fear of abandonment, his wounds with his mother, or the insecurity he has never admitted. This does not make him weaker. On the contrary, it is the moment he is most real. A man only changes when he sees himself. You do not teach him that, nor do you build him into any ideal. You simply create the space for his truth to appear. And that very appearance allows him to grow most naturally. When someone does something that bothers you, a small habit, a phrase, a reaction, your first instinct is often to think, "They are wrong. They lack sensitivity. They hurt me." But when you turn the question inward and ask, "What is this touching within me?" you are doing something very different. You are turning your gaze inward instead of outward. When you can name it, "I am upset because I fear being abandoned. I am reacting because I feel insecure." In that moment, the inner mirror becomes clearer. You no longer overreact, misunderstand others, or turn your emotions into their fault. If there has ever been a moment when someone's words or actions hurt you, pause for a moment and ask, "What fear in me is this touching?" Just recognizing one small point already takes you halfway through the journey of mirroring. And if you feel that you have just seen something more clearly than before, share it in the comments. Your story is not only your own voice, it may help someone else recognize what they have never dared to see. Perhaps from that very sharing, Someone will find the light they have been searching for a long time. Thank you for walking with me to this point. And if you are ready, we will step into Energy 6, where a woman's inner boundaries determine whether the anima in a man opens or closes. Energy 6, Self-Sufficiency, the steadiness that needs no proof. The energy of self-sufficiency in a woman always makes a man pause for just a little longer. Not because she appears strong, but because there is in her a very natural steadiness, the steadiness of someone who does not need anyone to feel worthy. This touches the anima in a man very deeply. It helps him realize that he is stepping closer to someone who does not cling, does not chase, and does not try to prove anything. Self-sufficiency is not exaggerated strength or absolute independence. Self-sufficiency is the state in which a woman does not define herself through love, attention, or a man's presence. She can love very deeply, but love is not the place she clings to fill her emptiness. She knows who she is, and that knowledge stabilizes her energy to the point where the anima in a man no longer fears being swallowed, no longer fears being controlled, and begins to dare to step closer. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The greatest privilege of a lifetime is becoming who you truly are." And a self-sufficient woman is someone who has begun to step into that privilege. She lives as herself. She does not shrink to be loved, does not exaggerate to be chosen, does not make herself smaller to fit anyone, and does not chase to keep anyone from leaving. Think about the relationships you have witnessed. Some women love through attachment, texting constantly, waiting for replies minute by minute, fearing his silence, fearing being replaced, always in a state of trying to hold on so as not to lose. And the more they hold on, the farther men drift away. Not because she is not good enough, but because her energy sends the message, "I will not be okay if you leave." The anima in a man responds very strongly to this signal, in a defensive way. By contrast, a self-sufficient woman does not cling, does not chase, and does not prove. When she loves, she does not lose her own life. She does not abandon her relationships, does not stop her interests, does not give up her career, and does not rearrange her entire world to revolve around one man. She keeps her own rhythm of life, and it is precisely this rhythm that creates the deepest attraction, an attraction that does not come from effort, but from inner stability. Imagine a very ordinary situation. He texts, "Are you free tonight?" The woman who clings will cancel all her plans, just to show him she is always available. The self-sufficient woman will look at her schedule and answer honestly, "I have something tonight, but I can see you tomorrow morning." A simple reply, yet the energy behind it is very powerful. Because she is sending this message, "I have my own life, and I choose to meet you, not because I need to, but because I want to." When he hears that, the anima in him stops being afraid. He does not feel demanded. He does not feel the pressure to fill someone else's emptiness. And then the strangest thing happens. He becomes more proactive, wants to come closer, and wants to hold on to that woman even more. Carl Jung once wrote, "When you stop trying to hold someone, their soul begins to find its way back." Many women believe that men leave because they are not beautiful enough or not good enough. But in truth, men leave when they feel they are everything to a woman because that makes them feel suffocated. By contrast, men stay and love deeply when a woman is so clear with herself that he feels free within that love, not pulled, not pushed, not forced to grow, not loved through control. A woman I know once told me that she had tried to run after a man she deeply liked in every possible way, texting constantly, checking in repeatedly, worrying for no clear reason. But when she began to return to her own life, going to the gym, learning a new skill, meeting friends for coffee, taking care of herself, something strange happened. The man she thought was drifting away began to reach out more. He said, "You feel so natural now. You make me want to understand you more." That is the energy of self-sufficiency. To integrate this energy, try a very small practice. Choose one thing you want to do just for yourself, without telling anyone. It could be buying flowers for yourself, taking yourself out for a truly good meal, cleaning your home, your own way, or sitting quietly for an afternoon without explaining anything. When you allow yourself to do something purely for you, your unconscious sends out a powerful signal. You are not lacking, and men sense that signal very quickly. When you live this way, the anima in a man will know exactly where to find you. Do you remember a moment when you stood firmly within yourself, and men naturally stepped toward you? Are you choosing love, or are you looking for someone to fill a space that only you can fill? The moment you dare to speak your true feelings, we are always here to listen, because sometimes, simply being honest with yourself is enough to make your heart feel lighter in a way nothing else can replace. Energy 7, Inner Freedom. Releasing so love can return on its own. When a woman stands firmly in her self-sufficiency, the next step comes naturally. She begins to release the need to possess. And it is precisely at that point that her inner freedom touches a man more deeply than any words ever could. A woman who carries inner freedom draws men in a very different way. Not because she is strong or distant, but because within her, there is a peace that does not demand. When he enters her life, she welcomes him. When he needs space, she steps back without feeling abandoned. That freedom within does not weaken love. It allows love to mature. Inner freedom is not indifference, nor is it emotional detachment. It is the state in which a woman does not cling to anyone to feel safe. She does not try to control a man's actions, emotions, or journey. She understands that each person has an inner path they must walk on their own, and she does not stand in that path to hold him back. Carl Jung once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light. You do not awaken by dreaming of light. You awaken when you dare to look directly at the darkness within yourself." And a woman's inner freedom is exactly that. She does not use a man to fill her fears. She does not use love to avoid facing her own shadows. She allows him into her life, but she does not bind him there to serve as support for the parts of herself that remain unhealed. Think about past relationships. Have there been times when you tried to hold on to a man by constantly asking, constantly checking, clinging to every small signal? When women do this, men do not leave because they no longer love. They leave because they feel diminished and no longer have space to breathe. A man who is trying to rediscover himself cannot grow in a relationship that feels too tight. By contrast, a woman with inner freedom gives men exactly what they lack most: space to face themselves. She does not chase, but she does not abandon either. She is there whole and clear, yet she does not block his path. It is this space that awakens the anima within a man. It makes him want to grow, to return to a better version of himself. He says, "Lately I've been really tired. I need time to sort things out." A woman without inner freedom immediately becomes anxious. Is there someone else? What did I do wrong? And from that anxiety, she begins to text more, ask more, and analyze more. This unintentionally pushes him farther away, making him feel disturbed beyond what the relationship truly requires. But a woman with inner freedom will say, "I understand. When you're ready, just let me know." Such a simple sentence, yet the energy behind it is powerful. Because she does not turn his need for space into proof of her fear of abandonment. She does not force him to reassure her. She lets him face himself. Many women try to become the one who makes him better, but men do not grow because someone pulls, pushes, or fixes them. They grow when someone has enough inner freedom not to block that path. When men are not rescued, they learn to rescue themselves. Inner freedom also shows itself in another way: not overreacting when a man needs to step back to reflect, not over-interpreting when he is busy, not treating silence as rejection. She does not bring old fears into the present. Her life rhythm continues. She still loves life, still invests in herself, still lives in ways that make her feel full. And what a man senses is not distance, but safety. Have you ever texted more, tried harder, done everything to prove that you are worthy? The result is always the same. You grow more exhausted, he grows more distant, and the space between you quietly widens day by day. So, what should you do? When you begin to return to yourself, caring for your body, pursuing your work, keeping your own rhythm, he begins to come back on his own. Not because you are playing hard to get, but because your energy becomes open and free, making the other person feel the absence of your presence. and they naturally step closer. To integrate this energy, try a small practice. Write down one thing you are trying to hold on to in a relationship, whether it is your current partner or someone who once passed through your life. It might be the need to text every day, the need for immediate replies, fear of silence, fear that he is busy, fear that he has a world of his own. Just write it down. That alone is enough to help you see what you have been holding on to for so long that you forgot it never truly belonged to you. You will realize, letting go is not losing. It is creating space for what is real to return. A woman with inner freedom does not try to become a perfect refuge. She does not force herself to always be gentle, always be right, always be fine. She allows herself calm days, vulnerable moments, quiet pauses. But she does not place the responsibility of healing those shadows on a man. It is precisely this self-responsibility for her inner world that creates a deeply magnetic presence. In the end, inner freedom allows a woman not to let love overtake her sense of self. She continues to live, to learn, to experience, to expand her world. And it is this expansion that becomes the most beautiful reason a man wants to grow alongside her, not because he is being held in place, but because he is inspired to return. When you release the need to possess, the anima within a man knows he is stepping into a safe place, not a place of demands, control, or suffocation. And in that moment, he begins to come back. Are you holding on to someone because you love, or because you are afraid to lose? The answer will reveal exactly where you stand on your journey toward inner freedom. Your story may become a source of insight and inspiration for all of us to reflect and learn together. Energy 8. Radiance. Becoming the space where others aspire to rise. Have you ever noticed that there are women who can walk into a room without saying a word, yet their energy makes everything feel clearer? A man who was speaking loudly lowers his voice. Someone tense suddenly slows his heartbeat. She does not try to create influence. She does not use force to demand respect. It is her deep presence that creates a space where anyone standing nearby naturally wants to become a slightly better version of themselves. That is the essence of illuminating energy. Illumination is not about shining. Shining seeks attention. Illumination comes from within. A woman who shines looks outward, searching for where she is noticed. A woman who illuminates looks inward, searching for the true point of her being. When she lives from that inner place, those around her feel it, even if they cannot explain why. Men, in particular, respond strongly to this kind of energy because the anima within them recognizes it as a signal of home, a kind of light that calls them back to their true nature. Carl Jung once wrote, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Those who live through the attention of others are still dreaming. Those who dare to turn inward are the ones who truly awaken." A woman with illuminating energy has reached that stage. She no longer seeks her value in the eyes of the world. She does not need anyone's approval to feel that she is enough. She knows who she is, what she wants, and what she does not want. And when she lives with that clarity, her inner light naturally radiates outward. She stands firmly in her own being, and those who enter her life, whether men or women, are affected by it. They suddenly want to live more honestly, more calmly, more deeply, not because she teaches them, but because her awakened presence creates a space that makes it easier for others to return to themselves. I once worked with a woman who was not the most talented nor the most outstanding, but the way she worked was deeply complete. She listened carefully, spoke at the right moments, and handled situations with a quiet steadiness. When problems arose, she did not panic. When conflict appeared, she did not get swept into collective emotion. That stability spread around her like a gentle current of air. A male colleague who was often hot-tempered and easily lost his patience would always slow down when speaking with her, even thinking more carefully before reacting. Not because she forced him to change, but because her calm presence made him want to become more grounded, clearer, kinder. That is illumination, not directing anyone, yet allowing them to adjust themselves naturally. For men, this energy works especially deeply. When a woman stands firmly in her own being, unshaken by outside judgment, not pulled by the need to be loved or chosen. The anima within a man feels safe. He is not pressured to become someone else, yet he wants to grow so that he can walk beside her. This feeling does not come from pressure. It comes from the natural respect one feels when witnessing someone who lives truthfully with herself. This is why many men say they do not understand why they want to change when they meet the right woman. They say she makes them want to become a better version of themselves, not through words, but through the way she lives in even the smallest details. Some men were once rebellious, living from day to day, chasing quick pleasures, avoiding responsibility, always running from their true feelings. But when they meet the right woman, whose inner light touches something deep within them, they begin to change in ways even they cannot explain. From someone who used to run away, he learns to pause. From someone who only sought momentary excitement, he begins to want to build something meaningful. From someone no one could rely on, he becomes a place others can lean on with trust, not because she changes him, not because she tells him how to live, but because the anima within him, the part of his soul she unintentionally awakens, leads him back to the man he has always, deep down, wanted to become. Illumination is not about acting deep. It is not pretending to be calm, mature, or understanding. Illumination appears when a woman is completely honest with her inner world. When she is tired, she allows herself to rest. When she is hurt, she allows herself to heal. When she is joyful, she lives fully in that joy. She does not hide, does not avoid, does not use emotion to control anyone. That authenticity is the light. A woman who is connected to her inner light does not judge others. She does not tell men they must grow, does not demand that they change, and does not force them to speak about things they are not ready to face. She creates a space where a man can be honest without fear of being judged. Men rarely find such a space, because most of their lives are spent under expectations, to be strong, to know, to be in control. But before a woman with illuminating energy, he can finally be himself. Men who carry long-standing pressure, who bear silent failures they never share with anyone, may not open up immediately when they meet such a woman. But they may pause a little longer when asked, "Are you okay?" They think more carefully before answering, and one evening, they may say softly, "I've been really tired lately." Just one sentence, but it is a powerful sign. Because men only reveal their most vulnerable parts when they feel the light in the other person. A light that does not make them smaller, but makes them more real. The heart of this energy lies in something profound. You do not lead the way, you are the way. You do not pull anyone forward. You do not teach them lessons. You do not try to reshape them. You live true to yourself, and your way of living becomes the light that allows others to choose their own direction. A woman who illuminates is not afraid of losing anyone, because she understands something very simple. What belongs to her will always find its way back. What does not belong to her cannot be held by force. It is precisely this freedom that makes men respect her even more and want to walk beside her for the long term. To let this energy live within you, you do not need to change yourself in dramatic ways. Begin with small habits that nourish your inner light. Write a few lines each evening to listen to yourself. Sit in meditation for 3 minutes to return to your breath. Take a short walk in silence. Draw something small, even if it is not beautiful. Brew a cup of tea and drink it slowly. These small acts, done with deep presence, rekindle the light you may have forgotten you carried. Let the light within do the rest. When you become fully yourself, the world naturally adjusts to match your rhythm. When a journey passes through 8 layers of energy, we are like someone who has just stepped out of a forest where every leaf once had a voice. Now the forest has grown silent, but this silence is different. It is the stillness that follows a ritual, a stillness that allows you to hear the rhythm of your own heartbeat more clearly than ever before. And in that peace, you realize something very simple. You were never searching for a way to awaken men. This entire journey has, in truth, been calling you back to awaken yourself. As for the anima within a man, the deepest layer of his unconscious, the part of his soul he has always tried to hide it, will find its own way once you are standing in the right place within yourself. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. What is most frightening is not seeing others, but seeing ourselves." And yet, it is only from the moment we dare to look that true transformation can begin. So if you are feeling a softening, a brightening, or a quiet settling within, that is not because you understand men more. It is because you are seeing yourself more clearly than before. Every lasting change begins with a moment of such honest confrontation. Let the self that has just been awakened continue to be nurtured. Let the small questions of today walk with you into tomorrow, and let the fragments of light within you guide the longer road ahead. If, within the 8 energies you have just experienced, there was a moment that made you pause, touching a hidden corner, or opening something you had never named before, leave one thing you have just discovered about yourself in the comments. That is always the first step of transformation. And if you wish to continue this journey with us, where many deeper conversations still await about the anima, about femininity, about shadow, and about the return to the true self, you can subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do not miss what comes next, so that you have a safe space where we can continue to reflect together. Because journeys into the unconscious rarely end in a single passage. They always call us back each time, a little deeper,